Ebert review Michelle Pfeiffer coming between singers Jeff and Beau Bridges in The Fabulous Baker Boys. Woody Allen's new movie is called Crimes and Misdemeanors. And Burt Reynolds is an elderly thief training a new partner in breaking in. It's all coming up next on Siskel and Ebert.
That's the title of one of the new movies we'll be reviewing this week on Siskel and Ebert, along with a tribute to the late, great Betty Davis, and also Woody Allen's new film. I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. Our first movie is called The Fabulous Baker Boys, and this is a movie that takes complete advantage of star chemistry. The Baker Boys in the title are two brothers, entertainers, who have been working the cocktail lounge circuit for years playing twin pianos. And in desperation, they decide to add a girl singer to the brother team.
I want to love you, feel you, wrap myself around you. I'm so excited, just about to lose control. I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it, I like it, I like it, I love it.
The singer with the best audition is a high-priced hooker named Susie Diamond, who wants to become a low-priced lounge act. She's played by Michelle Pfeiffer.
Do you have any previous experience as a singer, Miss Diamond?
No.
Any entertainment experience at all?
Well, for the last couple of years, I've been on call for the AAA escort service.
You can guess the next step. Jeff Bridges falls in love with her.
Listen, you're not going soft on me, are you? I mean, you're not going to start dreaming about me waking up all sweaty and looking at me like I'm some kind of princess when I burp.
If the brothers have chemistry with each other, Pfeiffer has a chemistry all her own. This is the most memorable scene in the movie.
He's washing dishes and baby clothes.
He's so ambitious, even so.
You're making whoopee.
And this is an amazing scene, sure to be talked about by everyone who sees the movie. Pfeiffer has an okay singing voice, but what she really has in this scene is an amazing ability to act a song. I was reminded of Rita Hayworth in Gilda or Marilyn Monroe in Some Like It Hot. And those comparisons with older movies are sort of appropriate here, I think, because The Fabulous Baker Boys tells kind of an old-fashioned showbiz story about the sexy singer who comes in between the two veteran musicians. What makes the movie so entertaining isn't its originality, but the confidence and charm and humor and believability that all three stars bring to it. There was never a moment when I didn't care about them.
I think there is I think it's a terrific picture, too, and I think there's some originality in it, and that's what got me, and that was that the picture wasn't played as a comedy, a romantic comedy, because I would have thought in this day and age, where comedy is sort of king, they would have thought the script, we'll get the two brothers to play brothers, and we'll have the girl come in there, and it'll be fun, and there'll be a big happy ending, and everyone will be wonderful. And this picture is a little darker than that. There is a real rivalry between the two brothers. They're allowed to feel, in this script, bitter toward each other and jealous and all that. And when she comes in there, it's not a cute playing one off of another thing. She's her own woman. She's been on the make all her life, and she's on the make here too. And so the picture has a real grounding in reality that I really enjoyed.
One of the nice things that and you're right about that it has a serious undercurrent. One of the things that works is neither one of these brothers has ever done in life what he really wanted to do, because they're locked into this relationship with each other that has them doing this act that, as it turns out, neither one has his heart in. What happens when Michelle Pfeiffer comes in is, this is her first opportunity in life to do what she's always wanted to do, and she's so happy in doing it that in a way, she makes it impossible for the two brothers to continue in their ruts or in their grooves. So there's something going on underneath, and apart from that, though, All three performances.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's really nice to see. I mean, you expect it from Jeff Bridges and you expect it from Michelle Pfeiffer. It's great to see Beau Bridges really get a good role because he was, you know, really strong in the movies 2 decades ago or 15 years ago, and now he's really got a juicy role here. It's a very entertaining film, but it's a serious kind of picture that I enjoyed seeing. Okay, next film, and our next film is something rare because it features a solid, non-flashy performance by Burt Reynolds, who seems to have given up the movies for TV shows. In the caper movie called Breaking In, Reynolds plays a veteran burglar who stumbles upon a young amateur thief while robbing a wall safe in somebody else's home.
Well, so how do you get one of them things open?
Very delicate operation.
Jesus!
That's Casey Siemaszko as Mike. He's just great playing a kid who knows nothing about being a professional crook when Reynolds first takes him under his wing.
I told you to set on your money.
Well, what good is having all that money if you can't spend it, huh?
I do all right.
What do you want me to do? Buy a little box down by the airport, settle down, play cards with old folks like you?
This is a movie about teaching, about father and son kind of learning, and some of the teaching goes both ways.
You paid him, didn't you?
Yeah. Don't worry, it's on me.
Thought it was a regular date. I thought she liked me.
She did like you. She said she liked you.
Well, then maybe she didn't want to pay. I mean, I never paid before.
Yes, you did. In one form or another, you did. Trust me.
Now, those are mostly one-liner dialogue scenes, but Breaking In is more than just talk, more than just one-liners. Writer John Sayles and director Bill Forsyth, two fine, quirky, independent filmmakers, really give these characters plenty of odd moments together that feel lifelike. It's hard to predict where this story is going to take us. And add to that the fresh appeal of Casey Siemaszko and a revived Burt Reynolds staying in character, and Breaking In is welcome indeed.
It is a good movie, and it was refreshing to see Burt Reynolds again at the top of his form. Burt Reynolds
in character,
is an actor who can play very convincingly in not only in light comedy roles, but also in this role, which has a little heart to it and a little deeper characterization, too.
Yeah, I thought of Robert Aldrich from The Hustle, which I liked him in so much years ago, where he was in a character and there was none of the references to contemporary life.
Right, somehow he got sidetracked somehow into those dumb car crash movies, and then he started playing himself as if every role he was just a guest on a talk show.
Right.
Here he's acting again, and it's very refreshing, and he has Bill Forsyth, who is able to find these offbeat moments, these little moments that reveal character, so that it's not just a caper movie about, really it's a relationship movie.
Absolutely.
It's about how the young thief and the old thief learn the trade or don't learn the trade together and also learn about each other. It's a fun movie.
You know, Reynolds is going to get a lot of the talk because, of course, it's sort of a comeback thing for him, but this Casey Siemaszko is really very special. I mean, you could play that role as sort of the puppy and constantly defer to the older fellow. He, in his own right, is fascinating to watch.
He's been around quite a while without getting a lot of attention. He was in The Gardens of Stone, the Coppola picture.
Very good.
Yeah.
When we come back, Woody Allen's new movie is called Crimes and Misdemeanors, and it asks the question, can a respectable physician get away with murder and not be haunted by his conscience?
It's a human life. You don't think God sees? God is a luxury I can't afford.
It's named Crimes and Misdemeanors, and this is one of the very best movies Woody Allen has ever made, a movie that moves back and forth between drama and comedy to paint a cynical and despairing and sometimes very funny portrait of the modern world. The movie cuts back and forth between two stories. The main story stars Martin Landau as a respected eye doctor who is happily married and treasures his reputation in the community. That's why he's so angry when his unstable mistress, played by Angelica Houston, writes a letter to his wife.
It was lying on the table all day. By sheer chance, you didn't open it. By a miracle, I got it first.
You told me over and over again you'd leave Miriam. We made plans.
I didn't.
You did. I gave up things for you, business opportunities.
Dreams.
And there were other men who wanted me.
What do you want from me? You think this was an easy decision?
I want what you told me you wanted. To be together. Otherwise, I don't know what I'll do, Judah. I'll jump out the window, I swear.
The movie's other storyline stars Woody Allen himself as a serious documentary filmmaker who is in love with a young producer played by Mia Farrow. But she is also being courted by a millionaire Hollywood TV producer, a man Allen has absolutely no respect for.
What was that? Okay, room 1911, sure. Okay, I'll see you there. Okay.
You're not going to go to the hotel with him? That's
Sure.
crazy.
What's the matter with
I'm
you?
going to
Don't
go
be
with
so-
you.
Oh, come on, don't be
This
ridiculous.
guy, I know this guy. He won't be able to take his hands off you. He'll get you in a room, you know, and he'll read you your Miranda rights and he'll tear your clothes off.
He's interested in producing something of mine.
Your first child.
Listen, I've never been seduced by a guy who wears loafers and no socks, much less one who says nuclear.
It's almost a device from classic stagecraft that you have the same story told on two levels. On the tragic level with Martin Landau, and then on the comic level by Woody Allen. One very significant, one less significant, and reflecting on each other. Crimes and Misdemeanors asks a lot of questions, including whether a doctor can be responsible for a murder and not be eaten up by guilt, by his own guilty conscience. And also, whether an intelligent young woman will choose to fall in love with a serious filmmaker, or will she choose instead a complete jerk who might be able to help her in her career? Allen's answers are so consistently pessimistic that they end up being funny in a dark sort of way. And this is the first movie I can remember where virtue is punished and evil doing is rewarded. A rare movie that considers serious questions and yet plays like a thriller.
Well, the whole issue is that this is the essence of the 80s we're seeing. I mean, where can you do something for my career? Can I get away with it? Is the name of the game. And the picture is so unremitting, and we're waiting for it to flip the other way, particularly with the Martin Landau story, that I sat there with sort of my jaw open. I mean, I just, suppose my mouth was open and my jaw was lower. But, you know, I mean, it's just terrific because he doesn't cave into anything. I mean, he just lays it out. And he's probably right. That's what you sit. Yes. You sit there and you just, you know, you're shocked, and then you nod, and then you feel kind of sad.
You're right. It's a movie of the 80s. It took till 1989 to make it.
That's
so much of our movies and our television and our fiction tends to support these pious platitudes about how you can't live with a guilty conscience. You can't do something that you wouldn't like to see yourself doing. You wouldn't like to think of yourself as a murderer or a thief. And the fact is, you open up the paper every day, and it's filled with people who were very happy to see themselves as murderers and thieves and white-collar embezzlers, just as long as they didn't get caught.
The other thing is that there's a whole mood in Hollywood pictures to teach us the way to behave through showing us right-thinking people. I mean, that's the standard way. You know, Gandhi, that kind of attitude. And here's a picture that comes along and shows us possibly the way to behave by showing us the way people do behave, and it isn't good. You know, and it's much more, to me, it's a much more interesting approach.
Woody Allen was, it was suggested to Woody Allen that this movie was pessimistic or cynical. And his answer was, he said, I would rather describe it as realistic.
Absolutely.
And in a way, that may be the right word. Coming up next, and it's a
lot of fun, but shocking in a way.
Good movie. Coming up next, John Travolta plays dad to Kirstie Alley's baby with the baby's voice by Bruce Willis. A review of Look Who's Talking.
Why didn't you tell me?
Hey, man, you're on your own.
Talking, and it's a genial comedy about a single parent who gives birth to a baby boy and about the cab driver who becomes her friend and the baby's father figure. Kirstie Alley from TV's Cheers plays the expectant mother being driven to the delivery room in the cab of John Travolta.
St. Jerome's Hospital.
Oh.
You stupid! Hey, slow down! The first stage of labor can take hours.
Yeah, so can the Midtown traffic.
The special gimmick of the film is that we can hear the baby's thoughts with a voice by Bruce Willis.
It's weird, isn't it? You spend 9 months trying to get out and the rest of your life trying to get back in.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Oh, this here is your first lesson in coffee. Without anything in it is black coffee. Can you say black coffee?
Nope.
And then there's
Travolta and Kirstie Alley are both appealing, and after a while, even the Bruce Willis baby talk gets funny. For example, when Travolta takes the baby to meet Travolta's grandfather, played by Abe Vigoda.
Hey, I got more teeth than him. Hey, one of those hairy jobs over your eyes. Yikes. Come here, let me see those things. Let me try and grab one. Oh, there we go. How's that feel?
The Bruce Willis lines are funny because he's using his vernacular, the way he talks, and it just works. Why even try to talk like a baby? Look Who's Talking is not a major piece of entertainment, but it is very good for what it is, a gentle domestic comedy. And the players are so down and appealing that you can't help but hope that they will sort out their differences and remain together. On balance, I liked it.
On balance, I liked it too. And I didn't go into the theater with a great deal of hope. I mean, they're emphasizing in the ads that Bruce Willis is the voice of the baby. If there's anything I didn't want to see, it was a movie where Bruce Willis was, or anybody else, was the voice of a baby.
Right.
And as for Kirstie Alley and John Travolta, they are not exactly coming off of roles of one hit after another, so that the movie might, you know, you might have low expectations when you go in, and then they just charm the socks off.
They do.
Of you.
That's
Travolta is is winning in this role. Kirstie Alley is very appealing, very warm and human. Shows you what she could do with other roles like this that I'd never seen before.
Well, I think that's what happens is you spend about an hour and a half or 100 minutes with a bunch of likable people, and it's fun. And it's nothing more than that, but nothing less either. That's kind of enjoyable.
That's it. When we come back, a tribute to the late, great Bette Davis, who did it her way in more than 80 motion pictures.
I'll admit I may have seen better days, but I'm still not to be had for the price of a cocktail, like a salted peanut.
Bette Davis died at 81 last week in a hospital in Paris, but she never retired. The first lady of the movies was on her way home from a film festival in Spain when death caught up with her, but she leaves behind a legacy of more than 80 motion pictures made over a period of almost 60 years. And she leaves behind a lesson, too, which is you don't have to be the most beautiful woman in Hollywood to be a movie star, but you do have to be willing to work hard and fight for what you believe in. Here she is in Jezebel in her Oscar-winning role as a New Orleans society belle trying her best to wrap Henry Fonda around her finger.
In fact, I don't suppose it's important to you what I wear to the Olympus Ball. It's only you that's so important. I suppose Mr. LaCour and the others couldn't possibly get on without you.
And here's Davis playing a similar scene, but on a completely different note, as a completely different kind of woman in Mr. Skeffington.
I'd very much if I sit somewhere else. That eagle looks just as if he were going to pounce on me, or whatever it is that eagles do. Are you sure he isn't still alive?
Quite. He's just stuffed.
Well, my poor little bird is stuffed too, so maybe that's what appeals to him.
Her best movie was probably the 1950 Academy Award winner All About Eve, where she plays a theatrical veteran whose career and love life are stolen from her by a younger woman.
You were about to tell me about Eve.
You'd have been proud of her.
I'm sure.
She was a revelation.
Oh, to you, too.
Davis was famous for her feuds over the years, few of them more genuine than her rivalry with Joan Crawford. When they made Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, Davis complained that she put on her makeup with a shovel, but Crawford somehow grew more glamorous every day.
Wasn't anything. Just that nosy Mrs. Bates going on about your picture last night.
Oh, really? Did she like it? Oh, really? Did she like it?
Bette Davis's last major film appearance was only 3 years ago in The Whales of August, where she teamed up with another screen legend, Lillian Gish.
We're so different, you and I. We're strong stock, Sarah. And we've precious little time left.
And looking at that, we're reminded that Gish, of course, had been making movies for 15 years before Davis even started. That led to one of the great stories from that movie when the director complimented Miss Gish for giving him a great close-up. She should, Miss Davis said. She invented him. But what Miss Davis invented was an image of a woman with the courage to make her own way in the male world of Hollywood, and even at the most hard-boiled of the studios, Warner Brothers. I fought for what I got, she once said, and I don't owe nobody nothing. What's amazing is that she was usually right in her fights, and the proof is in the wonderful movies she left behind.
She left something else behind, which I think is the significance of her career beyond her own individual work. There was a time when the woman, as customer, was the king or queen of Hollywood, when women's films were very, very important and were really the backbone of the movie industry in some way. And that is not true today. Today, kids and action pictures, basically, are the most important things that are produced by Hollywood, movies for kids. And so when Bette Davis passes, I think that a real era has passed, and you need stars of that magnitude to draw, and Hepburn, obviously, you need people like that to draw the attention of the people who make movies, to make them for characters like that, for actresses like that. And that's a real void that we have now. I mean, everyone points to Meryl Streep, but she doesn't work in 2 and 3 pictures a year as Davis did.
And she usually doesn't play, the woman isn't the subject of the movie. When Warner Brothers was making the Bette Davis pictures, they weren't the richest studio in Hollywood. They couldn't put 6 stars in a movie. If they had 1 star in the movie, that was the star of the movie. So if it was a Bette Davis picture, the main character in the movie was played by Bette Davis, not by Humphrey Bogart or somebody else. And today, you're right, there are very few movies that are told from a woman's point of view about women.
Well, that is the greatness of her career. Let's recap the movies we reviewed on this show. 2 thumbs up for the fabulous Baker Boys with Bo and Jeff Bridges teaming up with Michelle Pfeiffer in a surprisingly realistic musical drama. All 3 performances are first-rate. 2 more thumbs up for Breaking In with Burt Reynolds and Casey Siemaszko as older and younger thieves. 2 thumbs up for Woody Allen's shockingly good Crimes and Misdemeanors, a comic drama made for and about the 80s. And 2 more thumbs up for the genial Look Who's Talking, with fresh work by Kirstie Alley and John Travolta and the voice of Bruce Willis. And we're all thumbs this week, all thumbs up.
First time that's happened in a long time. Of those movies, the one that I really thought was the best was Crimes and Misdemeanors,
I think
which is almost like his film version of Tom Wolfe's Bonfire of the Vanities, about the values of the 80s and how they're almost exclusively materialistic and selfish.
And I think we can even agree on the ranking of the pictures this week. I would then put The Fabulous Baker Boys next. Then I would put Breaking In, and then Look Who's Talking.
But you'd have them all above the...
They're all good.
Above the...
but that's the order I'd see them
above the Great Thumb Meridian there in the middle, right? Okay, that's it for this week. Next week, we'll be back again to do some more geography lessons and also review Fat Man and Little Boy, starring Paul Newman and John Cusack, and the story of the birth of the A-bomb, and Matthew Modine and Daphne Zuniga struggling through medical school and gross anatomy. That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.
Redken Classics, hair care products formulated to create beautiful, healthy hair. So effective, their formulas transcend time. Available exclusively at salons. Rice-A-Roni, the San Francisco treat. Now with 30 flavors, you can serve it every day for a month and never serve the same dish twice. Johnny Cat is America's #1 premium cat litter. And now with our new drawstring litter box liners, Johnny Cat and a little privacy is all any cat needs. Nestle Crunch, it's creamy milk chocolate and crispy crunchies. Chocolate is scrunchious when it crunches. That's why you'll love Nestle Crunch.